And I want to welcome our esteemed guests. We'll take some time and introduce properly in just a minute. But I'd like to thank you for attending the Centennial Breakfast celebration of the Greater Albuquerque Association of Realtors, known as GAAR. And on my signature, if you've ever gotten an email from me, it says, "Have a great day." And I mean that sincerely. So we're 100 years old. This is the month that we celebrate and commemorate 100 years of service to home buyers, home sellers, and the community of Greater Albuquerque, which includes, as we all know, Torrance County, Sandoval County, Valencia County, and Bernalillo County, and a little bit of southern Santa Fe County, but not really a lot of homes necessarily. There's a lot of property because there's a lot of space out there, but we are just honored to be here with you today. Residential realtors help families achieve the American dream of home ownership, and they advocate to protect the rights of property owners. They're an integral part of every home story, and by being active in their communities, they're an integral part of every community. We're here today because you have played an integral role in adding value to the local real estate story. We welcome you and we thank you for being with us. And if you all haven't had a chance to follow our documentaries on the history of residential real estate or real estate in general in Albuquerque, it's really pretty fascinating. And you can find it on GAAR.com. Go to our blogs and you'll find at least 2 and possibly 3 in the very near future. There'll be a third edition of what will be finally entered into the Museum of Albuquerque's official archives as a historical document. We're very excited about that, and the quality is wonderful. Lou Tulga, I know Lou is here. Lou has done our voice on that. We paid him a lot of money, so thank you, Lou. I think he got a couple of cups of coffee out of the deal. But as residential realtors, we work hand in hand with the Commercial Association of Realtors New Mexico, who specialize in servicing the commercial real estate needs of our community, and by revitalizing neighborhoods and providing strength in the economy. And they make business dreams come true. So we make the home ownership dream come true, they make the business dreams come true. Now, if you look directly to the north, over here, you'll see a project, a commercial project that we started 2 years ago when the leadership here at GAAR stepped up to refresh our own neighborhood. This was a building that, as many of you know, has been an eyesore and a nest for criminal activity for over a decade. And we were finally able to secure that property, add it to our own, and it will become a beautiful office complex for the benefit of non-dues revenue for our realtor family. And it'll complement our current facility. If you see here, we've got a rendering of what it's going to look like. We've got hard hats and vests, and we are happy to take you on a hard hat tour during our time together this morning. So feel free to do that. We had planned as a part of our centennial celebration to invite everyone in for an open house. As many of you know, on Memorial Day, a really bad storm moved through this area, and we had a roof collapse in the northwest corner of our building here. So the north third, basically all the classrooms are not accessible because they're going to be under construction soon. We've done some demolition. There's a lot more to do and a lot more to go, but unfortunate situation. But I will tell you, God is good. We were closed, and any other Monday we would have had a room full of people in that room, and we were spared any injury at all. So we're very thankful about that. But right now, the whole north side of the building is closed. We learned one thing during the pandemic. We learned how to pivot. We learned how to make lemonade out of lemons, if you want to say it that way. And we got really good at Zoom really fast. We had installed all the technology prior to that because we really, as an organization, we saw the need for online learning and digital. And so that's what we did. Now with these classrooms being closed, we're going to have to continue that for a little longer, unfortunately. But isn't it great to be back together? Family, is this great to be back together? We are so happy. So happy that this is the first day that there are no more business restrictions. You guys go back to work 100%. You've been 150% all year, so that would be like taking a vacation, I know. This morning I'm gonna move quickly because we just need to get through this. I'm gonna introduce some people, but I'd like you to please hold your applause until the end because I want to move through this quickly. In the interest of brevity, thank you. I want to make sure that we get everybody here. This morning, help me acknowledge some of our guests. I will call your name. Please raise your hand. You're allowed to hoot and holler if you like. But 2021 GAAR President, Belinda Franco, and the GAAR Board of Directors. Belinda, you're here? And the GAAR Board of Directors, there's many directors here, I know for a fact. 2021 Southwest MLS President, Kathy Colvin, and the Southwest MLS Board of Directors. Is Kathy here? If I know Kathy, she's out showing property. All of our past GAAR and Southwest MLS presidents, many of them are here. If you just raise your hand and say hello. Good morning. There are a bunch of them. We change them every year, so they stack up pretty quick. If you'll look in the office here. Incidentally, this building, if you didn't catch that, this building is open for tours or just to wander. It's your building. You guys pay for it, so we appreciate it. Our esteemed emeritus members who have served the real estate community by being active in real estate as realtors for 40 years or more. Can you imagine? And they're sitting right here with us today. Thank you all for being here so much. You'll notice they have a little pin with 4 rubies, and that means 40 plus years. As a realtor, service to the community, not non-broken, a continuous service. Who does that? And then who does this? Mary Romero, Ian Caird, some of these folks, Jack Lynch, they come back and they want to serve on the board again. So we've got emeritus members that have come back into leadership positions. I just think that's wonderful. It just proves their commitment and their love for their industry. Mr. Steve Anaya, a good friend, good buddy from Motown. We call it Moriarty, we call it Motown. He's the CEO at the State Association, New Mexico Association of Realtors, formerly known as RANM. We won't say that word again, all right? From the Commercial Association of Realtors, 2021 President Clay Azar. Where's Clay? He's here. Hi, Clay. And Kendra, they want you to step out in the sunlight. And joining him is the Executive Director from the the Commercial Association of Realtors New Mexico, Kendra Yavoli, who's become a dear friend as well. Kendra, good morning. From the Home Builders Association of Central New Mexico, 2021 President Mackenzie Bishop of Abrazo Homes, and the Executive Vice President John Garcia. New Mexico Real Estate Commission Secretary, Executive Secretary Wayne Sidio. Wayne, welcome. Great to have you here. Thank you. Economic Development President Danielle Casey. Is Danielle here with us? She had RSVP, but I know she's extremely busy bringing businesses into Albuquerque. So, Economic Forum Executive Director and Realtor Bob Murphy. Like Realtor Extraordinaire. Where's Bob? I know he's here. Bob, good morning. Thank you. Economic Forum, let's see, former state senator and realtor, Mark Boitano. I know Mark is here. Mark and I served together in the Senate. Good morning, Mark. Former Bernalillo County Commissioner, city councilor, and all-around good guy and realtor, Tim Cummins. I know Tim is here. Good morning, Tim. Thank you. Also, fellow realtors and New Mexico State Representatives, Kelly Fajardo and Alonso Baldonado from Valencia County, both realtors and both serving our state at the highest possible levels. City Councilor Clarissa Pena. Is Councilor Pena with us this morning? I haven't seen her this morning. Rio Rancho Mayor Greg Hall. Wow, Rio Rancho. Where are you, Greg? Good morning. Thank you. I've said for a long time, Albuquerque's success going forward is going to be tied more to what happens outside of Albuquerque's borders. And so we need those partnerships. I think we've addressed that this week a couple times. Town of Bernalillo, Mayor Jack Torres. Jack is here with us. I know, I talked to him. Good morning. We've shared some stories. Village of Los Ranchos, Mayor Donald Lopez. Donald Lopez is here. Thank you, Donald, for being here, right there. And our special guest today, of course, is going to join us any minute, would be Tim Keller, Albuquerque mayor and former, he is here, there he is. Not sitting in his chair, but he's a renegade like that. Good morning, Mayor. Thank you for being here. You'll have a proper introduction in just a few minutes. So back in the day, Commercial Association of Realtors was actually based here at GAAR and decided for a lot of reasons that it was better for them to have some autonomy. They became what we know as a statewide overlay board, and so now they have a lot of autonomy, but we have developed over the last 5 or so years a very, very deep and abiding relationship with the Commercial Association. And a lot of the barriers that had existed between us had been broken down, and we function very well together, advocating for things that are important to our clients, which is ultimately going to be good for us. And that's just our philosophy. I'd like to now introduce the president of the Commercial Association, Clay Azar, and Clay's going to give us a few words. Clay?
Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Thank you for having me, first of all, and second of all, thank you for the shameless plug opportunity for the Commercial Association of Realtors. We also hit a milestone recently, our 25th year anniversary, and like Kent said, we started here and grew, and now we're growing back together. Commercial brokers have been involved with GAAR since its inception. In fact, there have been multiple past GAAR presidents and Realtors of the Year that are CARNM members. But as Kent mentioned, in recent years, CARNM and GAAR have cooperated in many ways and strengthened our relationship to become more effective to not only the public, but our members. And we've started an advocacy for local politics, which is very rare, a partnership. And together we advocate for private property rights, property ownership, fair taxation on behalf of our clients and the public. And what's good for buyers, sellers, landlords, and tenants is usually good for everyone as well. But really, at the end of the day, we're all part of the Realtor family. And despite how some bad pronunciators might argue with this, there is no I in Realtor. It's Realtor. And to all you guys, really just thank you for having us. Congratulations on your 100-year anniversary. And keep on keeping it realty. Thank you.
Thank you, Clay. Clay and I have spent a lot of time together lately, and a lot of admiration and respect for him. You know, we're 100 years old, and that seems like a long time. It seems, where could we go from here? But I'll tell you, our future's looking bright. So put your shades on. Albuquerque's future's looking bright, and I want to introduce a big reason for our success in this year so far and before is our 2021 GAAR president, Belinda Franco. She's going to address the crowd just for a few minutes here. Belinda?
Good morning, members and guests. Isn't this amazing to be out here in person, being able to hug each other and shake each other's hands? It was the arrival of the railroad in 1880 in Newtown, Albuquerque, that brought about the demand for housing. By 1920, this budding community of 15,000 residents began to require real estate services. So, 100 years ago, July 11th, 1921, the National Association of Realtors approved Albuquerque Real Estate Board with a roster of just 20 members. In those early years, realtors took on a different role in the community. There was no resale market because there were no houses. Those early realtors were the developers and builders of neighborhoods and the creators of subdivisions. They were also great marketers and innovators from the very beginning. Did you know that the first Albuquerque open house in 1928 was called House Beautiful, and it was located in Parkland Hills? It was front page news, and the Journal held a contest to select who the official hostess was going to be because of her adequate education and training, her pleasing personality, and graciousness of manner. Does anybody know who that was? Anybody? Anybody? If somebody can tell me at some point today, I will buy you a cup of coffee. Over 4,000 people visited the home over 8 days. I don't think that any of us sitting here today can say that we have had that many people come to one of our open houses. This year, we have dedicated ourselves to learning how our community developed in the last 100 years. We hired local historian William A. Dodge, who has been instrumental in providing a wealth of information that provided so much content that we have created a video series and articles about historical formation in Albuquerque. We have already released the first couple videos, and if you have not had a chance to watch them, I highly encourage you to do so. Guaranteed you will learn so much about Albuquerque, and maybe even about the neighborhood that you live in. Go to GAAR.com to catch up on the Building a Community History series of videos and articles. Throughout the years, the association has undergone several name changes as its geographical boundaries have expanded to include areas in Bernalillo, Valencia, Sandoval, Santa Fe, and Torrance County. Today, GAAR is the largest local professional trade association in central New Mexico, with over 4,300 members pledged to a strict code of ethics and standards of practice that was ratified in 1913 nationally. I want to personally thank you, every Realtor member here today, for your commitment to that code of ethics, and for all that you do each and every day to serve your customers and clients to achieve home ownership. Realtors live and thrive in communities where they live. We have a long history of being good neighbors and providing our time, money, and talents to local nonprofits. Currently, 82% of our membership volunteer or support nonprofits. That's amazing, guys. That's truly amazing. As early as 1924, the Albuquerque Real Estate Board contributed $40,000 to help promote the city of Albuquerque as a place to invest and live. Today, that $40,000 is equivalent to $630,000. What an amazing contribution it was back then. Throughout the years, local realtors have played an important role in supporting every facet of our extended community. 10 years ago, GAAR created the Realtor Fund, a permanent fund established to provide ongoing support to local charities serving Bernalillo, Valencia, Sandoval, and Torrance counties. We have exceeded our fundraising goals and currently have over $1.5 million that is managed by the Albuquerque Community Foundation. The Realtor Fund allows us to give yearly grants to 3 local nonprofits. The grants provide a minimum of $15,000 to each charity, each year for a 3-year cycle. The fund also supports additional giving throughout each year. This morning, I am honored to introduce our 2021 Realtor Fund Chair, who is also an amazing person, Christine Marin Taylor.
Just gonna stare at you guys for a little bit. Thank you, Belinda. It's such an honor to be here, and it's an honor to serve on the Realtor Fund Committee and our community. The Albuquerque Community Foundation has been an integral partner in our endeavor to grow the endowment fund and support all those in need. Today we have several important guests that I'd like to introduce. From the Albuquerque Community Foundation, please welcome, if she's here, Marissa Magallanes. She's Vice President of Strategy and Equity. And Joaquin Moya. He didn't make it. He is also the philanthropic advisor. Also, I am honored to introduce you to this year's grant recipients. When I call your name, I'm hoping you're here, please come to the front of the stage so we can see who you are. Ari Herring, Executive Director. Kathy Cunningham, Development Director of the Rio Grande Food Project. Tracy Sharp Weaver, Executive Director of Serenum. Jennifer Weiss-Burke, Executive Director of Serenity Mesa. I am so happy you guys could be here today. We have an important announcement. To commemorate our 100 years of serving the community, the Realtor Fund, with approval of the Board of Directors, will donate a total of $100,000 to be divided up amongst your organizations this year. We absolutely appreciate all that you do and how you serve our community. Okay. We did it. So congratulations. And just so you guys know, for more information on these organizations or to donate, go to gaar.com/fund. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you so much, Christine, and thank you to each of our Realtor and affiliate members who contribute and raise money for the Realtor Fund. This endowment fund will continue to give back to our community for the next 100 years and beyond. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our special guest this morning, Albuquerque Mayor Tim Keller.
All right, well, good morning, Realtors. It is great to see everyone, and I know it was mentioned before, but how special to be in person for this anniversary just in time and to see everyone's faces and smiles without, masks and such. It's extra special. So I'm grateful to be here with you this morning. And, as there's been the Realtor Association is older than our professional city form of government. So you guys have been building Albuquerque for longer than even since we've had, a formal city government and everything. And I want to also mention that, this organization, for us, I know it was organized 9 years after statehood. And I think some of you know this if you do the math in your head. But some of the original members responsible for it, you see their names, also all over our community, whether it's names of subdivisions or different streets downtown and so forth. And truly, this association is part of our city's history. And that's extra special because there are actually very, very few associations that predate modern Albuquerque. And so I'm extra grateful to be here. Just happened to be the mayor at the time of the 100th anniversary. So that's an honor for me as well. And I do want to mention, I have some family connections in the sense that my father was a realtor for 40 plus years. So, I grew up trying to clean up houses before folks would show up to see them. And my summer jobs were fixing air conditioners, for our rental houses. And so it's also been a part of, how I grew up in Albuquerque and essentially part of who I am. So I also want to mention that, this organization, we all know it's been nationally recognized numerous times going back to 1924. That's also extraordinary. And I think, though, in more recent times, what we just saw with this check presentation, I really want to thank everyone who's been involved for the community efforts, because helping organizations like the ones who just got funding, that is what we have always needed in Albuquerque, a community effort to lift us up, and it's absolutely what we need going forward. So whether it's Rio Grande Food Projects or Suriname or Serenity Mesa, and I want to especially just recognize with our behavioral health challenges and what we see with crime and addiction and even in our families, not to play favorites, but you picked really two good organizations that we need to help grow as fast and as good as we can. And so thank you so much for always remembering to give back even as you carry the city forward. And I think as I think about the future for our city, I do want to also share with you that, number one, I know we have challenges. It's obvious crime, violent crime, is the number one challenge in our community. But there is some silver lining. As you may know, property crime is actually down, so it should be a good thing for realtors. And also, when it comes to economic development, I know you all know this already more than most of the population, But get ready, because I truly believe that Albuquerque is on the cusp of a big real estate boom. And we're seeing it now already with some of the, you can't have a house on the market that long anymore. And, prices are going above even what they're listed and negotiated at, as you all know. But I think this is an indication of where our city is at regionally. And so I do want to share this with you because I think it's very relevant to all of us who live here, but also especially to your profession. GRT is up for us over 20% from 2019. That's before pre-pandemic levels. And let's hope it's not a bubble, but spending is way up in our city. And we know that we have announced 6,000 new jobs in the Albuquerque metro area in the last 2 years. That is more than the city announced in the last decade. And you see the masthead of our city changing, right? It now says Netflix. It now says Facebook. It now says Amazon. It's going to say Orion, if you've heard about that. These are major, major job creation projects that are going to create a new suburb in Mesa del Sol. So, let's knock on this wooden podium and hope that that happens and that those companies actually deliver on what they've promised, because that's truly on them at this point. But I have to tell you, I am more optimistic about Albuquerque than I have been in at least 20 years. And it's because that rising tide is going to lift all of us. And so we saw what happened when Intel came. It built Rio Rancho, right? This is what's going to happen out in Mesa del Sol with available housing in the Orion project, and also hopefully all around the city because of these other projects that we mentioned. And so we also know that we're not going to give up on downtown. So the city is actually subsidizing 200 new units downtown. We've got the Nuevo Atrisco project, which is roughly about 100 units out on the west side. And our Metropolitan Redevelopment Program continues to be ready to build over 400 units of housing throughout our city. So I think we are also well funded as a city. Most cities had to lay off people during the pandemic, and most cities had to cut pay. Most cities are dealing with all of those challenges. We are not in Albuquerque. We are extremely fortunate to be in a situation where we can invest in growth, and I think that is good news for all of us. So I would just wrap up by saying, on top of this, we're demonstrating that we are a healthier place to live and a healthier place to work. And that used to not mean as much as it did before the pandemic. After the pandemic, people really care about that. And we showed, and we've tracked this over time, that we had a lower positivity rate for the COVID virus. We had a lower transmission rate. We had more hospital beds available. And I think what all of us recognize, we had open space we could spread out in. We had parks nearby our neighborhoods. And all of these things, when you layer them together with the fact that we still have commercial office space available at a reasonable rate, means that we're a great place to work going forward in this new sort of post-pandemic environment. And so it's not going unnoticed. As you know, we know from the realtors industry that we are actually gaining population for the first time in a decade also. I know that census came out, but that was pre-pandemic. Post-pandemic, we are actually the #2 state in terms of net movers, only losing to Idaho. So we are actually in a really good place coming out of the pandemic. We are healthier, we've got jobs coming online, and we've got a great team that's going to help us continue to lift up our city. So lots of work to do, but I think the future for the next 100 years is bright. And congratulations, happy anniversary. And this proclamation here, extra special because on behalf of the city of Albuquerque, as your elected mayor, I get to officially say this is GAAR Association Day. I'm messing up the acronym. But it is your day today in Albuquerque officially. That's what's important. Congratulations and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mayor Keller. We appreciate you joining us for our celebration and proclaiming July 11th, 2021 as the Greater Albuquerque Association of Realtors Realtor Day. What an honor. Thank you all for attending this morning, and I'd like to give a shout out just from my heart of gratitude to all of the GAAR staff. We have an amazing GAAR staff. From our CEO, Kent Cravens. There's not a harder working man than this man standing right here, and he makes everything tick. So thank you, Kent. Thank you to all of you, membership, and all the affiliates for making this event such a success. Do you want to give away some prizes?
We should do that.
Yeah, let's give some stuff away. So take out your blue ticket. Keep your ticket out. We are going to give away 10 $100 gift cards. We're going to be posting these numbers at the back of the tent, just in case you want to double check your numbers. The first number is 6922363. We got a winner. Next ticket, 6922431. 431 are the last three. The third lucky winner this morning, 6922505. Whoever has this number is lucky because the last numbers are 505. Our fourth winner, yes, 6922398. 398 are the last three. All right, next one. Who's ready to win some stuff? 6922396. 396. There are 10 $100 gift cards.
How many we got there?
There's 5.
Okay.
So we have, this is number 6. 6922432. 6922432. Lucky number 7. 6922599. I'm not the one pulling the ticket. Come on, Kent.
Whoa. Here comes the bullets, huh?
6922617. 617. 5, 6, 7, 8. Number 9. The last two. Okay, 6922438. 438 are the last three. All right, number 10. Here's our final number for one of the 10 $100 gift cards. 6922423. That was this.
Oh, way back there. All right.
All right. So we're going to post those at the back of the tent so you can double check numbers. But thank you so much for being here. This has been amazing to see everybody. Thank you for being here, and enjoy some coffee, enjoy some waffles, and some burritos.
Perfect.
And we already
No,
said
we're
that
good.
part.
We're good.
Should we give a reminder about the hard hat tour?
Yeah, I'll just say it. Don't forget the hard hat tour for those of you that would like to grab a hard hat and a vest and walk over to the building next door.